Hello there, welcome to Plus Talk on Plus Life, where we're all about turning positive into a plus. My guest today is Abraham Johnson. He's recently been listed as one of POS 100's amazing young activists. Hey, Abraham, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Congratulations on that honor, by the way. That's a big deal.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Of course. So you work with a group called Treatment Action Group, where a lot of it goes by the name TAG. What is TAG? Why is it important for folks like us who are living with HIV?
Yes, so TAG stands for Treatment Action Group. A TAG is a large independent activist think tank focused on mobilizing communities through research-oriented information. So basically, we are at the forefront of all things HIV policy, all things HIV research, all things TB research. And we do that through providing research information to communities in a lay-friendly way. So that's to just summarizes what Treatment Action Group is.
Talk to me in everyday talk. How does what you guys do at TAG help me living with HIV?
Definitely. So I always think of TAG as a change agent. And I say that because there's so much research that happens around HIV prevention, HIV treatment. And what TAG does, we take that information and we make sure that it's, number one, accessible to communities and people living with HIV. But we also play devil's advocate. Oftentimes, there are so many marginalized people left out of these discussions and even research trials. As a Black gay man living with HIV, I always am on the lookout to see, okay, did you all do community engagement? Did you all focus on a priority population? And that's what TAG does. We make sure that all gaps are filled in the space of research, and we do it by providing accurate information. So each day I get a chance to learn something new, but also create change.
And that's really important. And we know, especially in Black and brown communities here in the United States, more so than ever, because HIV rates continue to climb, don't they?
Yes. So the CDC released, I think it was in 2016, that 1 in 2 African-American Black gay men will contract HIV.
When you hear that statistic, what does that make you feel?
I get frustrated. I get frustrated for so many reasons. There's so much information out there, number one, and also there's ways to prevent HIV. So I get frustrated because somewhere along the line, I don't know, from the top down, someone missed something, right? Whether it be providing accurate information to communities, whether it be doctors not being culturally responsive, but somewhere along the lines, people aren't doing enough and they're not taking it serious, right? And it makes me scared. It makes me scared because I know, as a person living with HIV, I know the experiences that I have had, right? And that's why I advocate, because I don't want any other Black gay men or Black people in general to live with HIV. I think that is, when I say live with HIV, I mean test positive for HIV, because there are so many prevention methods out there, right? So I get sad because I want to change the narrative, right?
And it's important that it's all good and well talking about treatment, and we talk about U equals U all the time, which is phenomenal and is a game changer, but there are some that argue, well, if I don't have access to the medicine, then that's unachievable for me. And the reality is, you can get the medicine, you can get on the treatment. There really is nothing that should stop you from getting access to that, is there?
Well, I wish it was that simple, right? So I'm from rural Georgia, Albany, Georgia. I reside in Durham, North Carolina, but unfortunately, not all the playing field is equal, right? We have an equity issue. We have an racism issue. We have so many systemic issues that prevent people from getting these life-saving medications and life-saving prevention options, right? So I would like to say that it was that easy, but we have a lot of work to do really around addressing access.
And as you said, it's from the top down, but it's also really important at the community level, at the grassroots level, which is really what you're focused on, is to make sure that, I guess, people are getting the right information, because so many people still think it's 1984 when it comes to HIV, especially in those communities, right?
Yes. One of the things that I always am doing, I'm always on the lookout for, is opportunities to really provide factual information to people that look like me, right? Prime example, I can give a real life example, right? So I have a friend, he's a platonic friend, and we were going to the gym. We go to the gym together, and he recently met a partner, and he raved about the partner. He was like, "Oh my God, he's so fine." It's like, then he calls me and he says, "Abraham, he has HIV, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And it's such a huge undertaking, and I don't know if I want to get on PrEP." And basically the stigma began to kind of show around how he viewed HIV. But he called me because he knew that I worked in HIV, and I instantly began to say, "Hey, like there's so many things that you can do. There are several discordant couples, right?" I told him that you can get on PrEP if he's taking his medication as prescribed. The chance of you getting HIV is like
Zero. It's zero.
Zero, right? So I'd be like, hey, so I had to literally pump the brakes. But also the reality is though was that like in that moment, a friend that I really was like building a relationship with, I was like, wow, you have some internal stigma, and it kind of like it hurt me because of his framework around what he thought HIV was, right? And again, he still looked at it as such a, vile disease and such like a horrible thing. And this is somebody that I interact with daily, and it frustrated me, right? Because he didn't know my status, right? He just knew that I worked in HIV, and it's like I'm providing him with information, but those lived experiences and me being able to provide him that information, it helped, but it also made me realize we have so much work to do, and it starts with our inner circle, right? This is somebody that still think highly of, but I think he has a lot of learning to do around HIV, right? So do I count him out? No. What I did was provided him information. I sent him some information from Tag, like, hey, you should join this webinar. So it just makes me like, as frustrated as I am, it makes me also realize that like there's work to be done.
There is work to be done. And the fact that you're having those conversations with your friends, let alone what you do for your job, knowledge is power, right?
Right. I feel like the more people know about HIV treatment, HIV PrEP, HIV vaccines, like research, right? I think there's an opportunity for people to really be engaged in research, clinical research. Just the more we learn about it and kind of shift the narrative. I talk a lot about like making sure that everyone is at the table and make sure that everyone is kind of like in those spaces that have opportunities to learn.
Right, but all this clinical research that goes on, it's a lot of science talk. And for the average Joe, myself included, I go whoosh and it goes over my head and I kind of zone out, which is irresponsible on a certain level. But when you start talking all these numbers and it's just it's somewhat, I find, overwhelming, and I think a lot of people then just put their head in the sands. How can we simplify it? I mean, I think something like U equals U is a really simple message, right? It's so simple. Undetectable equals untransmissible. Done. How do you guys sort of simplify what's really important scientific information and make it palatable to your friends in the community?
Great question. I think the first thing I do, I read it myself, right? I read it and I instantly look for those words that like, I have no idea what this means, right?
Yeah.
And I work with researchers, right? And I ask them, explain this to me as though you were explaining it to your grandmother. Explain it in a way that like a person off the street would do it. And once I understand it, I then translate into how I would interpret it, how my friends would interpret it. So it's all about working collectively. I think that oftentimes when you think about community engagement and how we engage communities, we have to make sure that communities are part of the process at the very beginning, right? Mm-hmm. So why do I have to ask the research after he sends out a report about his information? Why not include me in the process when you're writing it, right? Like, it's the simple things is just being more inclusive and intentional about engaging communities from the front, from the beginning.
Yeah, well, Abraham, as you said, a lot of work to be done, but at least it is being done, and it's being done by great people like you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me on Plus Talk today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. If you want more information about what we've discussed in today's episode, check out the website, pluslifemedia.com. And remember, you can follow us across social media platforms. We are at Plus Life Media. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. We'll see you soon.